to the Brabham Straight. Second row is Dan Lavery and Will Abraham in the 2:49 car. And the lights go out and the race gets underway for 90 minutes around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. And they'll get the best part of 90 laps out of that if there's no safety cars at all during that period. Up towards the first corner, or second corner they go. It's the 151 car that is ahead of Peter Keane at the moment. Hopefully everyone will be mindful of the fact that this is a 90-minute race. It's not going to be won or lost on the opening lap here, and no need for any rash manoeuvres. I can see that all 35 cars have cut the timing beam at the start of the race, which is great to see that we're off and running for all of the cars out there. I say there was some incidents during the course of qualifying this morning. Like everybody has made it out. So it's Keane that leads, I think, from Waring as they make their way around towards the end of the first lap. It is indeed the 228 car of Waring in second place. It's the 249 car that's up to third place. So Will Abraham has got ahead of Dan Lavery on the opening lap of the race. George Healer has held on to fifth place. Wilshire is sixth. And everyone else down to 11th has held station, and there's been various changes further back. Good start for the 27 car. That made up 8 places on the opening lap. That's the Steve Lloyd Ben Dobbs car. And a bad start in contrast for number 22. That's the Ryan Kefferty car. That's gone backwards a little bit on the opening lap of the race. Making our way around lap 2 then of this GAZ Shocks 116 trophy race for these 1 Series BMWs from the sort of mid-2000s, around about 20 years old, these cars now. They're making their way through towards the end of the second lap. Very credible one-make endurance season this that has grown in popularity over the seasons. Initially we saw some of these cars race with road sports, but they've had their own grids for a few seasons now, and they've been reliably pulling in 30-plus grids at circuits across the country. Keane it is that leads, and surprisingly, on the first fly lap, he's got the best lap of the race, a 1:00.223. Lap record for these cars. We'll just have a look at that if we can. It is Matt Hycock, a 1:00.08, so we're only about 14 hundredths outside of that. We did get underneath that in the case of Peter Keane in qualifying this morning. So we'll see if we get a new lap record during the course of the race. Getting their way through to the completion of 3 laps then. It's been relatively incident-free so far. Still 0.3 of a second the gap for Keane. He was no faster that time, still a 60.223 as he moves on to lap 4 of the race now. Keane from Waring, from Abraham in third, Lavery fourth, Healer fifth, Wilshire fifth, Caulfield sixth, Luke Fox seventh, Hall in eighth, and Dunn, Jamie Dunn in the 252 car in 10th position. And Marcus, well, we've got one that's into the pits actually. That's the 333 car of Ben Snee. I was just about to say it was all incident-free so far, but Ben Snee did have to come into the pits, unfortunately.
Yeah, the first part of these races is all about just finding your momentum and keeping it up, isn't it? And staying out of trouble, because all the hard work, all the winning work will be done at the end of the race, unless you lose it by a moment's inattention. It's so easy with a track full of evenly matched cars, and once they're spread out, it will be overtaking all the way, won't it?
It will, but they're not getting very spread out very quickly, are they? Because they're very evenly matched, as you say. The top, what are we looking at? 9, I think, have all done laps within 7/10 of the fastest lap of the race, which has now been set by George Healer, a 1:00.209 for the 187 car that's in 5th position. It's a black car that Healer's racing today. It was in a white 120 coupe yesterday. There you can see Ethan Hall in the number 25 car, the blue and pink car, quite striking for the student from Newdigate. That is the 121 car of Luke Fox that is just ahead of him. 1-2-1 Lake Fox making his way through. Ethan Hall behind him, the 19-year-old. His third season of racing, that 2005 built car. These two running in 8th and 9th positions at the moment. Making their way around. Peter Keane still feeling pressure here from James Waring, the teenager. And that 228 car is from Garstang near Preston. College student, only in his second season of racing. As a winner at Snetton last year. Had a few podiums in the sprints as well. Won yesterday's sprint race as well. And the Matt Highcock Racing run car. Looking possibly to move to single-seaters next season. And the F1000 has been mentioned. Which would be something very different to the 116 trophy. Well, Abraham, who got up to third place at the start, he's still there in P3 at the moment. There have been a few place changes further down the order. Nigel Greensall's just making up 1 or 2 positions in the car that he shares with David Hudson. Nigel Greensall, very experienced racer, we know races most weekends in something modern or historic.
Yeah, I think last year he did more than 100 races. I think the year before that he did 100 races. And rallies as well in the winter because he's got spare weekends on his hands.
Well, absolutely. What else is one to do when you can't go racing? So we'll see how he fares. He's up into the top 20 now. He's got ahead of Melissa Bexley as well on that lap, and Mel Bex Racing.
Yeah, Nigel Greensall's raced in the States this year. He's raced in the Middle East and raced in Portugal, I think, as well, or Spain, one of those.
220 going through there. That's the Neil Fox car that he shares with Andrew Partridge. He's just in behind the 325. So that is a change, actually. There's a change of position on that lap with the 325 car of Lee Pearce making the move on that lap for 13th place. There's also a position made up by Theo Tippett on that lap as well. He's got ahead of Lewis Charlton for 11th, I can see. Greensall's made up another position to 19th on that lap. So there are changes going on down the order. Not a lot, as this first phase of the race before the pit stops is just about settling in, really. First 5 cars are still pretty much together, covered by about a second. It's actually the car in 7th place that's got the new fastest lap, 100.169. That's Alan Caulfield in the number 5 car. He shares with Anthony Seddon, who was successful in one of the 120 coupe races yesterday.
What's the situation? There's 2 stops, 2 mandatory stops timed, but obviously that splits the race into 3.
Yes.
So one driver can do 2/3 of it, or you can stop when you like.
You can stop between 15 and 75 minutes. You have to stop for 60 seconds, and you can't stop behind the safety car. But within those parameters, you can stop whenever you like. So you could stop one lap after the other if you wanted to. And people have done that in the past to gain a tactical advantage, as they see it. Oh, and there's the first off we've seen in this race. That's the 186 car of Carl Petters.
Didn't famously Rosier do 23 hours and 3/4 or something at Le Mans, and his son did 1 lap back in the 1950s.
Right. Yes, we're not quite got a 24-hour race here, just a 90-minute race, but certainly it is possible to effectively work it so you could do 75 pretty much of the 90 minutes if you wanted to work it that way. Some will want to do that. They'll have one quicker driver and one slower driver. Some will just want to share the driving as equally as they possibly can.
There's no maximum stint length as such. I know some drivers are going solo, but you don't have to say, well, I can't drive more than 40 minutes or something.
Nothing like that, no. So within, let's say, those parameters of 17 to 75 minutes and not behind the safety car, you can stop when you like. So that Petters car, it was pretty much at the back anyway, I think, having had that moment. It's now a bit further at the back, but yet to be lapped, I think, but probably not too far away from it now as we're working lap 10 of the race. Peter Keane, I can see, just making his way through McLaren as we're watching there the Nigel Greensall car coming through, which has got the South African flag on it to represent the nationality of his co-driver, David Hudson, who's from Johannesburg, I think, originally. And you can see Greenswell there is about to pass. I think that's the 232 car. No, it's the 83 car. So he's made up a couple of positions. That's the car of Sammy Walton, drive from Toaster. He's getting past the top. So Greenswell's made up 2 places on that lap.
Up to 15th then.
Well, you'd expect a professional driver with all of his experience to be able to sort of make up places quite readily. He clearly didn't get a representative lap time himself in during qualifying because it was so badly punctuated by safety cars and red flags. So I imagine Hudson did the bit where there was actually some green flag running.
He raced in the Daytona 24 hours one year, didn't he? In a Pro Sport Spider, the Pro Sport Spider, I think. And yeah, he'll just be gradually picking people off, making sure that he hands the car over to its owner in good nick.
That's right, as up the inside of the 325 car goes 220. 220 is Neil Fox. He's trying to get up the inside of 325, which is Lee Pearce.
Of course, Greenswell did a lot of stuff in the VW Fun Cup, didn't he, as well? So he's used to all these enduros.
Yes, he's just about anything you could name he's been raced over the years, hasn't he? Certainly raced in Formula Ford 1600, I remember. Started with Mallory, started with Midlands, I remember. Did a lot of that.
3 abreast behind him there. He's got just way to the front of that group. Ben Wilshire going well in 666 in 6th place in his company.
Look how busy the circuit is there. So far into this race, 11 laps into this race. Black and white flag for 228 for track limits. That is James Waring, who's the 2nd place driver, and I know he was under some observation, driving standards observation, after a couple of issues yesterday. So you've got to be really careful. Watch his step as young James, if he's not to be penalised during the course of this race. A bit of youthful exuberance there, but he could just do with taming. Will Abraham's done the best lap of the race now, by the way, 60.137. Getting closer to the lap record.
60.008, I think you said it was, at Highcock.
Yeah, I think that was right. Yeah, 60.08 set this time last year, or just a little bit later in April last year that we were here. And they make their way out of Graham Hill Bend, down the Cooper Straight, this gaggle of cars. Sort of 2nd pack of cars, or probably even a 3rd pack of cars in this race. Keane, Waring, Abraham still the top 3. George Heeler now has got the fastest lap back at 60.101, so we're now only 200ths or so outside the lap record of Matt Highcock. Probably watching on from the pit wall or the garages, one or the other.
Early stopper coming in now, one of the black cars.
It's not going to be scheduled. That is the Poole car, isn't it? Number 78 of James Poole, the man from Epping. So this is not a scheduled stop, so this will be for a problem with the car. The 4040 racing car has gone straight into the garage to have some work carried out on it. So this can't count as a mandatory stop, unfortunately for him. The pit window opens in about a minute and or so's time. If he could have lasted another couple of laps, he might have been able to make it a mandatory stop. Clearly something urgently needing attention. They'll look to get it back out into the race as soon as they can. Everyone else continues to circulate though.
Pressuring the tyres while hot.
The 333 car of Ben Snee did get back out, by the way, and is running in 35th position, but sort of 7 laps behind the leaders. But, getting as much track time as he can. Here is the leading group. Peter Keane, 151, the leader. 0.4 of a second ahead of number 228, James Waring. 249, Will Abraham is 3rd, another 0.3 back. It's Dan Lavery, 173. 0.3 behind him in 4th place.
Ben Sneeze, another of those drivers, has been mentored by Carl Yellow at Paddock. The yellow board was flashing.
Okay,
There must
briefly,
have been a
yeah.
problem. Yeah, Bensley, mentored by Nigel Greensall, they won the Autosport 3 Hours at Snetterton a couple of years ago. Bensley Land lives at Shep Shed near Donington.
Right, pit lane window is now open because we're into the 16th minute of the race. There's one car that is already coming in, and that is the Jamie Dunn car for 252. 30-year-old from Blackburn, company director. His dad runs Clodhopper Racing. I think his younger brother Dylan is going to do some racing this year as well. He's been on the pit wall before. Jamie started out his racing in autograss and did a bit of karting as well. But he's into the pit lane. So we're now going to be in this sort of middle hour of the race where it's quite hard to interpret the timing screen, as some drivers have made their stops and others not. That is the 220 car that's in as well. That's Neil Fox. Doesn't look like there's a driver change going on there, I don't think. So I think he'll do this second stint as well. Tries to get a drink of water. Not easy through the helmet visor. I think Andrew Partridge will be out for the second part of the race. I think that's Andrew with his leg on the bonnet. Quite a few cars coming in as soon as they can. Some to make a driver change and some just to get a stop out of the way, I think. Christopher Godden's coming in now. He may well hand over to Jack, his son, who is the quicker driver of the two. Where is he? He's 23rd at the moment, so he may be one of those competitors that doesn't split the driving particularly equally.
Yeah, Ben Wilshire among those who's come in. He's running in the top 6. Caulfield Southern car in as well, among the quicker ones out there. Waring, Lavery, Wilshire, Caulfield Southern, Hall, Charlton, Brand, Anderson, Johnson, Dobson, Lloyd, Safety and Roundel, and the Goddens. Those two have stopped so far. Peter Keen's in now.
Yep, from the lead of the race, and Waring. What has happened to him?
He was one of the stoppers.
Oh yeah, he was one of the stoppers, yeah. So he has come in. But I think it was the sort of second lap around. So it's Will Abraham now that leads on the road from George Healer and Theo Tibbets. Of course, we're in this situation now where, other than in the one driver cars, we don't actually know who's in any of the vehicles.
Exactly.
Can possibly surmise in some cases by their lap times, but otherwise it's rather tricky.
Can't even help us with little running lights in different colours, as some of the international long distance racing teams use.
Yes, it'd be good if we could find a way. 2 to 8 has a 5-second penalty for track limits, so that is Waring, isn't it?
Yes.
So James Waring has a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. He's the first one to receive that during the course of this race. So Waring, who was just on the bumper of Peter Keane in the early stages of this race, has exceeded track limits now once too often, and any further indiscretions will cause those penalties to mount up and could result in a drive-through penalty ultimately.
888 of Greensall, Hudson currently running 3rd. I wonder whether Nigel will run long and then pop David Hudson in. And the Smith, Valentina and Rainford 714 is up into 8th now, but by virtue of the fact that about 2/3 of the field has stopped.
Yes, that's right. Only a handful really haven't, including that car, which includes among its ranks Charles Rainford, who's going to be a new driver to the British Touring Car Championship this year for West Surrey Racing. Second in the Carrera Cup last season. But I think driving with a couple of drivers that he coaches more than likely, David Smith and Sheena Valentina. 73 car on screen there is Theo Tibbets, and he's now the leader of the race, with Will Abraham having gone in, so he's leading, and Nigel Greensall is up to second, Greenstall's also doing the best lap of the race, 60.03. So that is now a lap record as well, isn't it? Underneath Matt Highcock's time, so a lap record for Nigel Greenstall. And the 116 trophy. 220 has a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits as well. So it was Neil Fox that was doing the first part of the race for that team. So it looks like he's picked that up.
These cars can run an hour and a half on a tank of fuel.
Yeah, no refueling, so they have to be able to do that. It's just a straight race, just the driver changes, no refueling allowed. It will be in Club Enduro when we see that underway in a few weeks' time. Croft. So I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 cars that have yet to make their stops. Some, I think, have now made 2 scheduled stops as well. They've got both of their stops out of the way early. I think Dan Lavery has done, Ben Wilshire has done, 232 car of Jonathan Baker has done, for example. So those solo drivers, you might as well just get those pit stops out of the way early. If you are sharing the car, you can't really do that in quite the same way. But yeah, so
it's a much more flexible race if you're a soloist, isn't it?
It's a definite advantage to go on your own, I think. Now there's the 8 car. So that's David now in the car, and there's Nigel out of it, helping to push David back out into the race. So Nigel has got out with about 22 minutes of the race gone. It's not to say we won't get back into it again in the final stages.
We do know who's now in it, though, don't we? So that's solved one little
yes,
conundrum.
It has, for the moment at least.
Nigel Greenstall, that open-faced helmet, very similar in its colour to that of Hans Stuck. Racer.
There's the Clodhopper racing car of Jamie Dunn, 252.
It's got a great graphic on the side, hasn't it, with the foot on the pedal.
Yeah.
In the large roundel on the door.
Yeah, it's quite clever, and running with sort of golf type colours as well. Now that car at the moment is in 28th, having made 2 stops, but is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 7th of the 2 stoppers at the moment. It does look like a lot of the pit stops are going to be taken early. There's already about 10 drivers that have been in twice. Now some of those have not been scheduled stops. What we can't do on our screens is differentiate those. Let's head down to the pit lane now. Josh Barrett has found someone to talk to.
Down here in the pit lane after one of the first driver changes, Nigel Greenstall. Nigel, qualifying, you didn't even get to do a lap, I don't think, so you had a real charge through the order.
It was fantastic. I love it when it's like that. Yeah, it was unfortunate that there was a few little incidents in qualifying, and David never got a flying lap, and then the only laps I got were behind the safety car. And my pace behind the safety car was fantastic. I was able to keep up with everybody. But it made for a much better race because we started like P29 or something, and it's just fantastic, you know, when you're having to pick your way through the field. And I absolutely love this. I love, I brought a number of people into the series to sort of like get them started in motorsport. And as I was saying to David and Ben Snee, who's our teammates, the other chap that I brought in as well, you learn so much in this type of racing. You really do. That stands you in good stead for all kinds of things that you race in the future.
Because I know your co-driver was saying, because I think he races E-types as well, but he likes coming back here because he learned so much, like you say.
Yeah, well, David was here last weekend with his Ferrari and won his class, which was all to do with the work we've done over the past couple of years of me coaching him away from races, but then also during the races of learning racecraft and how to manage yourself and also how to manage the cars and the other traffic.
Dare we say after this morning, everything seemed pretty clean out there in that first stint.
It was wonderful to actually get some laps. We're so lucky and so privileged to go racing, and on a beautiful day in the sunshine at Brands Hatch, we're all so lucky to be here. So yeah, it's good that everyone's enjoying it.
How many races have you done so far this year?
I think we're up to about a dozen so far. So it's good to be here doing this one.
Do you know how many different cars you might be racing over the year?
I really don't know. So far this year, I raced Radicals in Abu Dhabi, LMP3 and a 67 Mustang in Sebring. And then I did Barcelona where I raced a Corvette, 2 different Chevrons and a Morgan. And then last weekend I was here in the Equip series racing a CTR, which is built by Richard and Matthew Chamberlain. It's the car that they've built and created. And that was fantastic. You know, we had a little problem with the alternator belt, but we'd qualified on the front row, which was fantastic. So yeah, real variety.
Yeah, the variety is a big word, isn't it? And that's what's so great about motorsport, and you get to enjoy quite a lot of it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's wonderful with motorsport because there's something for everybody, you know. And through the winter, I do a lot of rallying as well. So a lot of the drivers that I coach and get into the sport, I also take them rallying to help teach them car control and understanding different track conditions. And yeah, it's racing, isn't it? At the end of the day.
And Brands Hatch, always a great track to come back to.
It really is, yeah. One of my earliest memories as a kid is sitting on the grass bank over there, waiting for Ronnie Peterson and JPS Lotus to come round at the Race of Champions, and it was like seeing that inspired me to want to go racing. So yeah, all these years later, here I am, lucky enough to do it.
Obviously now you've done it for quite a long time. I guess when you started racing, that was a really big thing.
It really was, yeah, and it was something from a kid, it's all I ever imagined doing. And so it was just trying to find ways of doing it. So you have to be very creative and really positive and determined as well, and just not losing focus and just wanting to do it. So yeah, everyone can do it.
I guess that's what's nice when you get to work with quite a lot of new drivers and they get that experience.
You do, and it's wonderful that. And I always laugh with Nikki, my wife, we always laugh at, you see someone's true personality when they go racing, because there's the highs and there's lows and there's all the emotions and the stress and the excitement that come out. So yeah, you really certainly meet some interesting characters.
Even though you've been doing it obviously for quite a long time, your partner gets involved with all the pit stops, I saw that.
Yeah, and you know, it's sort of, for me, I get really excited when I'm at a racetrack, and yeah, sharing that with everybody is wonderful. So, and it's great when you do get the opportunity of doing passenger rides. And taking people from passenger ride around a circuit is one of the best things ever, because then they start to realise what you're going through and how much fun it is.
And with this race in particular, you getting back in the car, or is David doing the rest of the race? I'm
not quite sure. I'm going to go and get a latte now and have a cookie, and then I'll be ready when David comes in, and David will either jump out or I'll jump back in, or David will do the whole race. So yeah, we're here for David to have a good time and enjoy his racing.
Well, I'll let you go and get the drink, and thanks for having a quite long chat. So there's Nigel Greenstall out of the 888 BMW, which David Hudson is now at the wheel of.
Thank you very much, Josh. Back up here in the comment box, I can tell you that it's Theo Tibbets that is continuing to lead this race. He's one of only 3 drivers that have yet to make a stop. The other is the David Smith, Gina Valentina, Charles Rainford car, and the third is the solo driver of Mark Milne, number 360, the man from Wigan. Everybody else has made at least 1 stop, and about half of those have made 2. So quite a lot of stops have been taken in the sort of first 13 minutes in which they've been able to do that. So that's quite interesting that how the strategy's been developed. I know sometimes we're mindful of the fact that you can't take a stop behind a safety car, and then I've probably watched the other racing over the course of the weekend, Marcus, and seen quite a lot of safety cars, and thought that might well be a feature of this one as well.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot of discipline in endurance racing, and you've got to be in it to win it. And you've got to understand the rules, you've got to play to the rules, and just keep your nose clean. It's not always difficult, not always easy to do that, particularly as with such closely matched vehicles. But this one here, you see, you make a mistake and you've lost 6 places. You know, it's all about the long game.
Now, what is significant is the fastest of the 2 stoppers is the leader of the 2 stoppers is the 173 car, which is Dan Lavery. So Dan Lavery 173 is leading the way of the 2 stoppers from Peter Keane in second. There's 3.5 seconds between those 2. They're just flipping around on my time screens. It's quite hard to flip it. That's as the cars come into the pit lane now. The Smith car has now come into the pit lane. I can tell you in the 714 car, it's Lavery, Keane and Waring, who's got the 5-second penalty to be added to his time. Don't think that's been added yet. He's in 3rd, and then it is Wilshire. Ben Wilshire in 4th.
And we have an hour to go, or a few seconds.
Yeah, 2:49 getting a 5-second penalty. That's Will Abraham, another of the front runners. Now he's the fastest of those that have actually stopped twice. Theo Tibbets has just made his stop now from the lead of the race, but Abraham had already served his pit stop and he was the leading one stop. He was ahead by 8.5 seconds from Caulfield, but now will have 5 seconds added to his time. There's been a spinner, and that's the 101 car at the foot of Paddock Hill Bend. Will Tyndall and James Allen sharing that car. Not sure who's in it at the moment. Will Tyndall, though, the 42-year-old from near Marlow. And he's the driver that developed the Escapade complex at Silverstone on the outside of Beckett's there, and has been racing since 2022. And Anthony Seddon Racing prepared car. There is the 173 car, which is nominally in the lead of the race, the fastest of the two stops, the leading two stop. That's Dan Lavery. And he's just trying to find a way past. I think that's the Petters car there, the 186 of either Carl or Dean Petters.
Okay, and the Peter Keane car is you to pick up with that big white K on the bonnet. And we saw that flash through our screen there at Clearways.
And James Waring not too far behind either, but does have that penalty. There's, I think, three drivers now which have got exclamation marks next to their name in the on our timing screen, indicating that a penalty is to be added to their time at the end of the race.
And there's different kind of grades of penalty, aren't there, in terms of exceeding track limits and things like that. You get upgraded to a greater duration.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, 10-second penalties now I can see they've just been gone on. Just as we're talking about that for Neil Fox and most significantly for James Waring. So I think it goes 5 and then 10, so that makes 15 in total. And then I think in lieu of a 30-second penalty, it's a drive-through penalty in an endurance race. Could be a 30-second penalty, so that can really harm a race. And of course, in a longer race, there are more opportunities to exceed those track limits. And the sensors at different points around the Brands Hatch circuit to automatically record when that happens. So there isn't really any escape. Can't rely on the fact that the observer might have blinked at the wrong moment. It's all going to be recorded. It's all going to be in the book, and I can see it's all logged, all of the track limits, infringements, and how many times that they've incurred those infringements during the course of the race. Comprehensive details are maintained.
There was something rolling across the track there on the Cooper Straight, about halfway down on the outside, away from the racing line.
Okay, possibly some debris there for drivers to be aware of as they go into this middle third of the race now. Reminder that pit stops can be made up to 75 minutes into the race. For 15 minutes from the end, to put it another way. Now that's one of the drivers that's had a penalty for track limits, the 220 car, Neil Fox and Andrew Partridge's car. I think Neil Fox was staying in that one from what we could see in the Fox Lux. Careful how I say that, to entry, and he's using this opportunity, I think, to make a second pit stop. Possibly hand over to Andrew Partridge. He's not the only driver in trouble. Number 93 is Lawrence Johnson. It's off there. Driver from London. So a few incidents all of a sudden. Just looking at the time screen again. The leading two-stopper is still Dan Lavery. Ahead of him on the time screen for the moment is the Fox and Partridge car, but that's not yet to come back out of the pits. And Abraham is the leading one-stopper. There are no non-stoppers left. Oh, and there's a car in the gravel trap now. Could this be the first safety car period of the race? It's up against the barriers. I can see the yellow flags or yellow lighting boards, more to the pointer, flashing to warn of that car that is off. into the gravel at the exit of Paddock Hill Bend. And yes, the safety car has been scrambled.
With 55 minutes to go.
And so anyone who was thinking of making a stop soon is going to be unable to do so until the safety car comes back in now. If you're in the pits, that's okay, on the basis that you can't predict the future. Although, in a way, strategically, that's what you need to try to do, predict the future. Predict when a safety car might come in, or go out, I should say, and maybe get an advantage by taking at least part of your stop while the safety car is on circuit.
It's kind of a free pass, isn't it? Potentially.
Yeah, and there's that debut you were referring to. I'm trying to work out what that is. It almost looks like I don't know if it's the top of a corner marker.
Yeah.
Or it even looks like a drinks bottle or something. It's
I hope it's not an oil filter or something like that. But it looks like it's just sort of rolled languidly into our sight a couple of laps ago.
It's not on the racing line,
No.
so it's unlikely to cause too much disruption. But I imagine a marshal might just not nip down and pick that up during this safety car period.
Safety car's waving people past.
Yeah, it's now picked up the leader, Will Abraham. So Will Abraham is that's ahead at the moment. He's sharing that car with Scott Jeffs this weekend. It's not the first time they've shared driving duties. Just yeah, looking back, it was at Croft last year. The two of them shared the car to take second place behind Matt Hycock on that occasion. So race neutralised with 53 minutes to go. Abraham leading, but with a 5-second penalty to be added to their time. Caulfield is in second place, 8 seconds behind, although that gap will be compressed a little, I suppose. There'll be cars between them as well. Luke Fox 1-2-1, Luke Fox and AJ Duffel third. Fourth, Theo Tibbets and father Matt Tibbets. Theo, the 22-year-old, Matt 51 in his second season of racing. Did some class 6 and 9 autograss racing. In this car that's built in 2023. Then you've got Greensall and Hudson. Hudson now at the wheel of the Treble 8 car. 325 is the Pearson Davis car. Cam Davis and Lee Pearce. Lee it was that started that car. 27 is in 7th place. That's the car of Ben Dobbs and Steve Lloyd. And the Goddens, Christopher and Jack, they are 8th. 9th, 22, Ryan Cafferty and Richard Roundland. 10th, the Udans, Sean and Simon in 33. They've all done one stop. Of the two stoppers, it's Dan Lavery 173 first, Peter Keane 151 second, 228 James Waring third, 666 Ben Wilshire fourth, and James Dunn 252 in fifth.
Teams which have a considerable discrepancy between the faster and slower drivers would actually prefer to have the slower one in now.
Yes, exactly.
While the number of laps is restricted.
Indeed. Let's go down to Josh for an interview in the pit lane. He'll be speaking to another of the drivers.
I'm down here in the pit lane with Mark Bate, the promoter of the 116 Trophy. And Mark, it's been a great first weekend of the year with the Sprint Championship yesterday in the 120 Coupes and now the Trophy, big grids and everything.
Yeah, full grids. Sun's out. We've got a bit of a wind problem at the moment. We've got some Alaskan wind coming through. But yeah, we had a great day yesterday. We had some new winners. Some that were expected, some that have come back. Jack Godden, he's had some car problems over the last 2 years, but with a bit of a refresh over the winter, he's come back. And we knew he was a great driver, we knew it was the car. So mechanically the car's been sort of restored, rebuilt. It's come straight back and just straight on the pace, straight on the podium, and he's leading the championship, so he's gone away. So today he's racing with his dad. His dad's out there now, and he'll swap with Jack, and they're just going to enjoy today. So yeah, great. I mean, as far as the series is concerned, the sprint yesterday and the trophy today, it's working perfect for us.
And having it all on one weekend means if people want to, they can do both.
Yeah, they can pick and choose what they want. Our thinking was always, you're here at the track, the cars are reliable. Once we knew the cars were reliable, you can't do it without a reliable car. But you've paid to get here. It's one more night in a hotel or in the tent, and it sort of brings the price down a little bit on the sort of moving around and the mobility, and that's what can cost in motorsport. So my thinking is, rather than doing every weekend, pick 3 weekends and do the sprints and then the trophy on the Sunday. So really pack it in on the weekend, and it works.
And this is a great series for newcomers. There's always lots of newcomers every time out, really.
Yeah, what we're seeing now is a slight change in motorsport from when I first started. Young people seem to come into it. Young guys, well, not so much young girls, because we haven't really got many. We need more girls in motorsport. But the young people that come into it, they just seem to jump straight in, and they're quick. And it's like, sometimes it's sort of shocking how quick they are. But yeah, this car, I think what we're seeing is the connection between karting and motorsport. And the trophy car, as much as it doesn't look like one, it must be very similar to a kart, because if you've been good in karts or sims, trophy seems to work for you.
And tell us a little bit about the car, perhaps for people at home who might want to get involved.
It's just a basic road car. When BMW made the 116, I think people just laughed, and we laughed when we first written it down on paper. But it's turned out to be such a great racing car. The fact that it's got a very small engine and a big fuel tank lends itself to this. But it can also be a sprint car, which we didn't expect. And the series is the car. The car is the star of the show.
Thanks, Mark. The safety car's gone in now, so we'll head back up to the commentary team, back upstairs.
Yeah, the car's just been released from the safety car hiatus, and we're back underway. Leaders have done 37 laps. Leaders are working lap 38 now, and we have something like 8 cars on the lead lap. But of course they're spread out with different stop strategies, and still at the head it's the Will Abraham and Jeff's car number 249, Caulfield 7, and Fox and Duffield. Early casualty was the George Healer car, wasn't it, Ian?
Yes, that's only managed to do 19 laps and stopped out on circuit somewhere by the looks of it. So about half of the number of laps that have now been completed by the leaders. He was up there in that leading group as well, wasn't he, in the early stages of the race, just before the pit stops, which kicked in around about 14 laps into the race, 15 minutes into the race. There's about a third of the cars that have yet to make their second stop, and therefore about 2/3 of them that have. Lavery is and 3 more have just come in now. That safety car has peeled off. Caulfield's come in, Hudson's come in, and Jack Godden has come in. Now imagine Jack Godden will stay in the car. If Nigel Greenstall's still sipping his latte, then David Hudson might need to do the finals.
I think the promoter was just saying that it's Godden Senior in at the moment.
So it will be Jack that's getting
taking
in now.
over to run to the end, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And yes, that's the third of those cars. There's the Godden car now, the 71 car. Winning yesterday in the sprints in the hands of Jack. Yes, there's Christopher. strapping in his son into the driving seat and getting back out into the race. Looks like some MHR sweatshirts. MHR Matt Highcock Racing supporting the Gardens possibly this weekend. And both of those cars being pushed back out into the race. And it looks like another couple of cars have come in. Luke Fox, AJ Duffel car, 121 has come in, and the 27 Dobson Lloyd car now in as well. There is the 249 car, winning alone on track with that Union flag style livery, but in silver and green. That's leading on the timing screens, but has only made one stop, and only one of 5 cars left to have only made one stop that are still circulating. There's a couple that have retired. But yeah, an ever diminishing group of one-stoppers here, with only just under half of the race left to go now.
Yeah, Lavery in 173 is running 5th. He's a two-stopper, and Peter Keane, and those two still really close together. And their strategy looking exemplary at the moment.
Yeah, Lavery, the 37-year-old from Ampthill, the all-broker, only in his second season of racing in the FSR with Anthony Seddon Racing Team. FSR stands for Full Send Racing. No quarter given nor asked. Still best lap of the race to Nigel Greenstall, that's 60.03. Just seen a personal best pop up for Pete Brand in the number 86 car. He's running in 19th position. And there's Jack Gordon back out on the circuit as well, number 71. So he's doing pretty much half of the race, and his dad did the first half. So they've split it pretty evenly between the two of them. Let's see what he can do from 17th currently, and about 13th, 12th or 13th of the two stoppers. I suspect he will progress from there. One of the quicker drivers on the grid. 18 seconds between Abraham and Tibbets in second. Those are the two one-stoppers. The Pearson Davis 325 car is now into the pits for its second stop. They were one of the last cars to hold out from making that. And that's that car that we're looking at now. Nicely presented car for the pair from Ipswich and Bromley respectively.
Got the Betsy at the Marsden charity logo on the bonnet.
Timing being done there to make sure that they stop for no less than 60 seconds, because if you do take a short stop, then you have to have a penalty, which is an extra stop-go, where the amount of time you have to stop is twice the amount that you short stopped for. Oh, Jack Godden, or maybe Christopher, have got a 5-second penalty now for exceeding track limits in the 71 car. So they're the latest addition. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only the 4 with actual penalties. Either 5 or 15 seconds to be added to their times. Now that's interesting. That's Dan Lavery. Seems to be attacked there by the 252 car of Don. No, they're on. I think they're probably about to be on different laps.
Yes, they're a lap apart.
27 car. Just going through. That's the Lloyd and Dobbs car. That's the car in 16th position at the moment. So a reasonable rate of reliability. We've had, I think, we've still got 32 cars circulating. But some started a bit late and some have been into the pits and managed to get out again. But we've had 3 retirements effectively. It's the Gordon car that we're just seeing going through. We had the 121 car going off through the gravel and continuing. That was AJ Duffel and Luke Fox. I think we're about to see another penalty as well for Thomas Law. We'll wait for that to appear. That's going to be another track limits infringement. Oh, look at that. Jack Gordon's got underneath a minute, 59.937. So he's broken the 60-second barrier. That's the first time that's been done in race conditions in a 116 trophy race.
That's with the fuel load coming down now.
It is.
Well.
Cars will be lighter. I mean, the tyres might be getting a little bit more weary and other components, but reasonably consistent throughout the race. Cars are running the Nankang control tyres, which are extremely affordable. Oh, and that's the 186 car. One of the Petters is off, whether it's Carl or Dan in the car at the minute. I'm not quite sure, but one of the Suffolk Giro is in there. It's a team with a short oval racing background and pickup truck racing as well, I think. But that car is in the gravel trap at Paddock Hill Bend, and it's in a similar position to the car that was there a few laps ago. So the safety car's being scrambled. At a point of the race where I think there's only 2 more teams that have yet to make their second pit stop. The two out in front, unsurprisingly, Will Abraham in the 249 car, who'll be handing over to Scott Jeffs, or possibly Scott's in there at the moment, and the 73 car of the Tibbets, Theo and Matthew Tibbets. All the others have made 2 stops, and now those first 2 can't make their stops until the safety car goes back in. I've just got to hope that happens in the next 24 minutes, otherwise they're scuppered somewhat. I've seen that happen before, where someone's not been able to make their pit stop because they just left it too late. They gambled about safety car.
Looking at the car now, aren't we, that made that early stop before the window opened. So 1 or 2 more dramas with the 40-40 racing.
Yeah, that's James Paul, isn't it? Number 78. I think we're looking at. Wheels coming off, possibly. So cars in line astern once again. Yeah, 777 and 83 now getting track limits penalties. 5 seconds. 83 being Sammy Walton. 777 Thomas Law. So a couple more teams being added to the penalty list. Car, as we know in the gravel, is the 186 car of Petters. There we go. The safety car has picked up the Abraham and Jeffs 249 car once again. As you can see in the background on the live stream, the snatch vehicle has arrived to take out of the way that Petters car and bring that to a position of relative safety.
So it's only, in fact, Abraham and Jeffs, isn't it, that get to make a second stop, because the Tibbets car is in the gravel anyway, it's out of it.
No, it's not the Tibbets car in the gravel, it's the Petters car.
Oh, Petters, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Tibbets car is, I think, still there, circulating somewhere.
Yeah, that's got to make its second stop.
Just looking to see that where it's in the queue. Got Gordon immediately behind the race leader. Looking for car 73. I think this is it coming towards us, possibly. The black car with the pink and blue flashes on it. There it is. That's the Tibbets car. For the father and son pairing. Relatively new to racing, only started out last year.
The Godden car is a lap adrift, is it not, of the Greensaw Hudson car at this point?
It looks like it, yes. Yeah. Yes, and this is the thing with the safety car, it can sort of disrupt progress somewhat. So it's effectively, well, it's actually on the same lap, but nearly a lap behind, if you see what I mean. Because obviously the cars behind the safety car aren't in the correct order as per the timing screen, because they're all on different laps. Most of them are within 2 laps of the lead, aren't they? Down to about 27th place, and then you've got the rest who've perhaps had some dramas along the way. A greater number of laps down. I would expect that the 2 cars that have yet to make their stops will do so as soon as the safety car goes back in. You can't follow the safety car into the pit lane. You have to have gone over the line again and then make you stop at the end of that lap, otherwise it doesn't count. But I suspect that both of those two will want to get in as soon as they can now, because otherwise the danger is that there's another safety car called and it's not back in again before the pit window closes. Rather dusty and dirty looking 186 car now. Come up some of that Saharan dust that we've had falling on our cars as before on it, but it's all from the gravel trap at Paddock Hill Bend. Kentish dust. Look at the 360 cars out of the race, but pugs all round there. Mark Milne. So at least one more lap behind the safety car, although that car has now been moved. It's just the snatch vehicle wasn't quite back into its station to allow the race to continue. .34 minutes and change remaining here. Looking at where the 22 car is. Where is that in the running order? It's in 27th place, Rich Roundel and Ryan Cafferty. Rich Roundel, who's coming up to 50 years old, from Warrington, a motor vehicle technician. Started racing in 1992 in sprints at the Aintree Circuit Club. He's also raced in the old Ford XR Challenge, the Northwest Sports and Saloons, with a Vectra Challenge car that won its class in 2013. He's done some Fun Cup and a few years of 116 trophy racing as well. And he's sharing the driving with Ryan Cafferty, sometimes MX5 Super Cup racer. And Rich says that Hannah, which is daughter, informs him that Ryan can drive my car quicker than I do. He says it's hopefully not true and it's the timing device that's faulty. Car he built around about 5 years ago, bought it as a non-runner, found the whole build process quite enjoyable, he says. So, if you're looking to get into the 116 trophy, it's quite enjoyable to build your own car. Ryan Cafferty, his teammate from Leek in Staffordshire, started racing in 2009, has done Brick Car, MX5s and Honda Civic racing as well. At least one more lap behind the safety car. Whether some gravel to be swept up or something, I'm not quite sure. Ethan Hall, what happened to him? He's in 8th place now. He's one of the drivers with a penalty to be applied to his time, the 19-year-old student from Newdigate. Team 27 has among its number Steve Lloyd from Brixworth in Northamptonshire. He's 46 years of age and managing director of and owner of his company Shaw Can Limited that manufacture tin cans. Only started racing last season. Right, safety car is pulling in with 32 minutes of the race remaining. And it's Will Abraham and Scott Jeffs, the leading car, that is going to control the pace as the cars come back up to the timing line to resume combat. But shortly I expect that car to head into the pit lane, which it can do so at the end of this lap. See if it does. The car that's only made one stop and is a lap ahead of the rest is the Tippett's car, number 73, the black car with the pink and blue flashes there. You can see the Union flag lifted car. It stands out, doesn't it, that Dan Lavery car?
It does, and that's the car that's going to assume the lead when the two ahead make their final stops.
That's right, because a pit, although it's 60 seconds stationary, it's going to be 80 or 90 seconds, I would think, that you lose making a stop. And as you can see, Lavery is only
one lap adrift.
One lap and a few seconds adrift.
Yep.
And a lap is basically 60 seconds. So Lavery will, I think, assume the lead after all of this.
I think you're right. It'll be about sort of 90 in and out, won't it? Something like that.
Yeah. Now I've got yellow flags. Oh, and there's another car off. It's the 33 car this time that is off in a different gravel trap. There's the 249 car. Oh, my prediction was right. Will Abraham and Scott Jeffs. Ian, going to get a driver change here.
This might not hinder them as much, might it?
It
Safety
could
cars
work.
back out.
It could work to their advantage, yes, because it will delay the passage of time, or passage of Dan Lavery. Change the time, that's out of their hands, I think. But it'll delay Dan Lavery getting back around quite as quickly as he otherwise might have done. So that could work. I noticed that the Tibbets didn't come in though. So they are not going to have this same advantage. So that might be a tactical mistake, as it turns out. This could be tactical genius on the other hand, so we'll have to wait and see. I think there's a large stroke of luck involved, whatever happens. So they've got to be stationary for 6 seconds, counting down 2, 1, and go. Back out into the race. And it's going to be touch and go. Here comes the safety car train. I've got a feeling going to have to wait at the end of the pit lane here, though. Yeah, the red light's on at the end of the pit lane, so he's going to not get back out in front of the train, which he would have been hoping he might be able to do.
It's going to trigger the timing beam, isn't it, in the pit lane, which it does.
Yeah.
Just after Lavery's gone through.
So he's going to be at the back of this queue of cars, though, but on the lead lap at least, which I think you'd have been expecting to be the case anyway. The 33 car is the one that's needing to be recovered. That's the car of the Udans, Simon and Sean Udan. So the snatch vehicle called back into action once again. This is the 3rd safety car period in this race now. So this car will be recovered. I think Abraham's and Jeff's car is now back out onto the circuit. It's still therefore the Tibbets car that leads nominally, but has to make another stop. Safety car is waving them through. It's trying to find the Tibbets car, which is about 7 or 8 cars behind where it is. They need to wave through 173 Lavery. Got 173 rather than 73 at the moment. I wonder if they're confused as to which car they should have behind, but they should wave through Dan Lavery and pick up the Tibbets car. And by rights, because that, although it's yet to make its final stop, is still officially on the timer screen leading the race. But it doesn't look like Lavery has been waved through yet, and it should be. Oh, and now there's another car that's... I mean, that's... That was the 232 car, which wasn't the car immediately behind. Right, Lavery's now gone through. Right, they have waved Lavery through, but the 232 car decided to preempt it all and make up a couple of positions there. The 33 car's now been released from the gravel. I think it will probably have to be told to head back to the pit lane to clean itself up before it goes back out on the race.
232's Baker in 20th place.
Yeah, Jonathan Baker, the driver from Lordswood. So safety car is still waving across the right, stop there, that's it. They've picked up 73 now, which is the car of the Tibbets family, which is leading this race at the moment. Making their way around.
So Lavery has been waved through, did you say, in that previous batch?
He has been, yes.
So he's going to finish his 53rd lap before the Tibbets car has a chance to notch up 54.
Yeah.
But is still owing us a stop.
Yeah. Yeah, the Tibbets still owing us a stop. The snatch vehicle is back into its station just about, not quite yet. Safety car lights are still on, so it's going to be one more lap behind the safety car anyway, I think. 26 minutes left to go. Spent quite a few laps in the safety car in this race now, quite a chunk of the 90 minutes available to us. Had no major incidents, just a few annoyances really of cars getting stranded in dangerous position, which is often the way here at Brands Hatch.
This is the third safety car interlude, isn't it?
Yeah. Lots of gravel traps for cars to get stuck in, unfortunately.
The Tibbets car is now notched 54 laps.
Yeah, and Lavery will be basically, will complete 54 laps and therefore will assume the lead when as soon as the Tibbets car goes in, basically.
Yep.
20 seconds behind. So we've got 25 minutes of this race left to go. I think we'll probably get the race back underway this time. We'll have the Tibbets car coming in, presumably as soon as it can, which won't be when the safety car comes in. It has to be the next lap after that. It can't follow the safety car in. Well, it can do, but it won't count as its mandatory stop. But the safety car is going to go in this time, and we will be about therefore to start our 56th lap of the race. It's Tibbets then that leads them around, and the race gets back underway then. Over the line they go. The car immediately behind them is almost looking like it's going to make a move into the corner. I think that was the Dunn car possibly that's right there behind. Here they come. Oh, in fact it's the 83 car, isn't it, for Sammy Walton. So the cars all stream uphill.
There's still nothing between Lavery, Keane and Waring, is there?
No, quarter of a second between Lavery and Keane, and 2 seconds between Keane and Waring. Waring does have that penalty hanging over him of 15 seconds though. It's the 83 car of Sammy Walton that's right behind Tibbets here. Now is Tibbets going to go into the pit lane at the end of this lap?
Penalty for Waring will drop him behind Ben Wilshire, won't it?
It will not gone in this lap. Well, can't afford to leave it too many more laps. There's only 8 minutes left before the pit stop window closes. There's Ethan Hall. He's under pressure from the 31 car of Sam Holman for track position.
Yeah.
And 6th position on the racetrack.
Hall's got a penalty to serve.
Penalties to Lawrence Johnson now, and 55 and 28 as well. That's Lewis Charlton and Melissa Beckley. They've all got track limits penalties as well now. We've got the 73 car alongside number 93. It is, in fact, that's one of the cars that's just got the penalty. Lawrence Johnson, not Sammy Walton, as I said. And it's this is not for the lead of the race because they're on different laps. Indeed, Johnson is 2 laps behind, but he's now got ahead of the 73 car. Ethan Hall has also got through. I'd rather think that this might mean that the 73 car would be trying to get to the pit lane, but he's now got cars on the side of the track that are going to block him from getting there, potentially. So no, he's staying out for at least one more lap, Tibbets. I really thought he might have been in by now, Marcus.
Yeah, might have clung to the inside, I think, at that point. Thought, you know, I'm going in. Ethan Hall's just hit trouble, hasn't he?
Yeah,
so he's pulling off now.
It's a mechanical issue of some kind, you would think. 25 car for the student from Surrey. The smoke coming out of the back of the car there, but he's hit trouble. He was in about the top 6 when that struck. So it's looking like Lavery by 0.2 of a second from Keane. We'll perhaps try and pick up on where the 173, the Union flag car, is of Lavery at them in a moment, because that's the car that's going to be effectively leading this race, and it's only 0.2 of a second ahead of the rest. There's the car that's 2 laps down, just ahead of the 252 car of James Dunn. We're going to see though if the Tibbets car, the 73 car, comes into the pit lane this time. The answer to that question is yes, it is going into the pit lane at long last. So let's head down to Josh Barrett, who's down in the pit lane, to see that all happening in front of him.
So
So the final pit stop, we think, final scheduled pit stop is about to take place. One of the family-run teams, the Theo and Matt Tibbetts duo. So they're going to have the driver change first of all. So the belts come off, steering wheel as well comes off just to make it easier for first driver to get out. So I think that's the father, which is Theo Tibbetts. Matt Tibbetts jumping into the car now, in sort of traditional BMW livery as well, so great looking 116 trophy car this is. I think I can tell you the safety car has been deployed again, so this might work out for the team, it might not. We saw a similar situation with the previous pit stop for Will Abraham and Scott Jeffs, where they just got caught the wrong side of the red lights. We'll see what happens this time. So the seatbelts going on, so it can all be done in a fairly sort of safe manner with the 60 seconds mandatory stop time. You can see the cars coming in at a 45-degree angle. Very empty pit lane, unlike from the pit stops earlier on. The door gets closed now, and then the countdown will begin by the team. And 60 seconds is up, so the car gets pushed back. The safety car goes past in the background, so I think they are going to have to wait at the end of the pit lane when the red light shows. So that is the completion of, we think, the final scheduled pit stop of the day.
Yes, and you're quite right, Josh. The safety car has come out because Ethan Hall's car needed to be recovered. Just before that came out, there was a moment where it looked like Peter Keane was going to try and get past the car of Dan Lavery for the lead of the race, but of course had to back out of that when he saw the yellow flags and the safety car signals. So it's Lavery still leading from Keane, Waring with that penalty serve, and Ben Wilshire in the 666 car, the man from Hampshire, still there in fourth. The running order now, then, we could probably give you this with a little bit of confidence now. The top 10: 173 Dan Lavery leading, 151 Peter Keane in second, 228 James Waring third, but with a penalty to be added. 666 Ben Wilshire in fourth, 252 Jamie Dunn in fifth, 31 Sam Holman in sixth, number 5 Alan Caulfield and Anthony Seddon, and only the first two driver team in seventh, number 5, 8th 121 Luke Fox and AJ Dovell, 9th number 71 Christopher and Jack Godden, and 10th number 249 Will Abraham and Scott Jeffs. But only those cars are being waved through again, I think, aren't they? We'll have to wait and see how many cars are actually on the lead lap by the time we get to it. There's the Lavery car, you can see that on screen now, but I think we're going to have a proper grandstand finish when the car is properly released from behind the safety car and into the final 15 minutes or so of the race. 1-2-1. AJ Duffel and Luke Fox has now got a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits as well, so there's quite a few drivers and teams now that do have those penalties. The safety car has not yet picked up the race leader Dan Lavery. There's more cars that it will need to wave through. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars, I think it will need to wave through before it picks up Dan Lavery in the 173. The Ethan Hall car's now out of the way. Safety car does wave through more vehicles.
This is going to boil down to about a 15-minute sprint, isn't it?
Effectively, like all the other races we've had today, we could have saved ourselves an hour and a quarter here. But that's effectively what it's going to be. In the end, there's the Lavery car, the Keane car behind it, and the next car is, I think, a lapped car, probably, rather than the next car on the timing screen. So we've got a batch of cars now trying to catch the crocodile. In fact, 2 batches of cars trying to catch up with the crocodile, which is a relatively short one behind the safety car. Hopefully they'll all more or less combine into one queue, and it is pretty much, I think, going to be a 15-minute race, maybe slightly less than that. Don't think the safety car lights are out yet. No, they're still illuminated, so there'll be one more lap at least behind the safety car. I think probably they're just waiting for these cars that have been released to get back into the queue.
Get the stragglers on board.
There are, as a result of all of this, 14 cars on the leading lap though. Admittedly, there's about a minute between the first and last of those at the moment, but that gap will come down.
Yeah, it will, because more of them will join the queue, won't they?
Yeah. So it should be relatively compact. There goes Lavery again, 61 laps completed. Waring is 2.4 seconds off the lead, Wilshire 6.9, Dunn 11.2, 13 seconds behind. Foxton to full 16, the Goddens still waiting for them to come through. Bit more than that. Hopefully out of contention, no they are, they've just got across the line now. 32 seconds behind. They're in the next group of cars, which isn't quite catching the rest of the train fast enough. So,
safety car in this lap.
Yep, it is. Lights are out. So it's going to be 14 and a half minutes or so of racing. So probably get 15 laps out of it, assuming there's no more interruptions. I think we're getting some cars which will have to serve stop and go penalties as well now for exceeding track limits as well. By the looks of things, we'll get confirmation of that soon. Right, green flag waves, race back underway. So it's the two cars for the lead that you can see now. Dan Lavery and Peter Keane. They are heading through Paddock Hill Bend for the first time after this restart, the 63rd time in all. There was a quarter of a second between them at the start of this lap. Peter Keane in the 151 car, the driver from Reading. Had success in some of the sprint races last season. Had a few podiums in the endurance races as well. There's battles going on a little bit further back. There's James Waring, you can see in the 228 car, but it's side by side for the lead of the race down the Cooper Straight this time, and it looks like Peter Keane has got his nose in front and he retakes the lead of the race. So Peter Keane, who led at the outset of this race, has got back ahead now of Dan Lavery in the 173 Union flag liveried car. And Peter Keane, can he now start to pull away from his rival? We'll wait and see. James Waring has got a slower car to try and find his way past, and he's got a penalty to overcome as well, which will be tricky. Number 93 has got a stop-go penalty, I can tell you. That's Lawrence Johnson. So he's going to have to call into the pits. And we're hearing that it's been deemed that the 249 car, their second stop, was deemed to be under the safety car. That's Abraham and Jess. Well, I thought they made it in just before the safety car, but they're getting a penalty.
Two kind of Siamese kind of safety car stints, weren't they?
Yeah. Obviously, the officials have taken the view that the safety car boards were out already when that car came in, so that's going to drop them down the order. They were 9th, so not really contending in any case. Only 13 minutes of the race left to go, and it's still Peter Keane leading from Dan Lavery in second. The question is who's going to be third. James Waring needs to get his foot down if it's going to be him, because he's got to overturn what I think is a 15-second penalty that he's got in total.
Yeah, 666 Ben Wilshire now looking good for a podium as a result of that. Because he got bumped Waring a couple of places yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, he did for indiscretions. Yeah. So 12 minutes still to go. Lavery's not giving up, is he? He's still sticking with Peter Keane here. Keane not having
That's all he can do.
all of his own way. There they go, turning their way through Clearways towards Clark Curve. Put a gap back now to the next car on the road, which I don't think yet is James Waring. It is up one of the lapped cars that is the third car that is coming through. Just checking to see which one that is. It is the 83 one, so Sammy Walton that is. And then it's Waring, that's the next car after that, the 228 car in the Matt Highcock Racing colours. And he's got Wilshire 2.7 seconds behind him, so I think in the next group of cars probably Ben Wilshire. There is Waring though, the DDC Group Engines car. Still struggling to find his way past this slow car, and this is one of the problems with endurance racing in evenly matched cars. It's quite difficult to overtake, especially at a circuit like Brands Hatch. Looking at their respective lap times in this race, Waring's done a 60.175, The 83 car, which is a lap down, has done a 60.867, so there's not a huge amount to choose between them. Difficult to find his way past. He's having another go, is James Waring. Eager to try and get as much distance between himself and the next car as he can, but he's now got the 232 car chasing after him as well. That's Jonathan Baker, who's also a lap down as well. Finally, he's made it through though, his Waring. Here the top two, they've pulled a long way clear, 9 seconds clear now. So 6 seconds clear of Waring. There he is. He's not going to catch the first two, I don't think, in the remaining 10 minutes of this race. That's the 73 car of the Tibbets, which is now running in 18th place after its pit stop, the last of the cars to stop.
So they're skirting the dust on the outside.
Someone just heading back out into the race as well. The number 93 car, Lawrence Johnson. I think that was because he'd been serving a penalty, stop and go penalty for an early infringement. So we've got 23 or 24 cars, I think, within the first 2 laps of this race. Keane and Lavery, here they go, still only a quarter of a second behind them. Peter Keane thought he was going to get away and come home with a comfortable victory. It's not been the case here. Lavery has seen to that. There's the 232 car, which is the lapped Jonathan Baker in 15th position. 228, Waring is the one in 3rd. Ben Walsh 666 is 4th. Jack Gordon is on the case. He could make up another position.
He's
here.
one of 3 cars in successive positions have penalties.
Yes, that's true.
Depends on their severity, really, as to how that order pans out.
It does. But you've just got to get as far up the order as you can on the road, get us home as quickly as you can. Worry about the penalties afterwards. Down towards Hill Bend, the contenders go once again. 325. The Callum Davis Lee Pierce car now has a 5-second track limits penalty.
14 cars on the lead lap with just under 8 minutes remaining.
Yeah, it's good going. It shows how competitive this 116 trophy is.
It's close to half the field, isn't it, on the lead lap?
Yeah, that are still circulating. I think there's probably something like 28 cars circulating. So yeah, probably it's about half of the field that are still on the lead lap. 116 trophy goes to Thruxton next on the 4th of May. And then to Snetterton in June, Cadwell Park in July, Silverstone on the international circuit in August, Croft in September, and Donington Park in October to round out the season. At most of those events, they're accompanied by the Sprint and 120 Coupe Cup as well, but that isn't the case at Croft. But the 116 Sprint and 120 Coupe Cup do go to Alton Park for BMW Live instead.
We're into battle at that Croft meeting, so the Thruxton meeting. So that's going to be quite exciting to see how they cope with the flat-out sweeps of Hampshire.
Certainly will.
Very different circuit to Brands Indy circuit.
That's right. They've got the Sprint on the Saturday, and on the Sunday it's the Enduro.
I guess that'll be pretty hard on tyres.
I expect so. Let's see how these tyres hold up around there. The Lankangs. 173. Dan Lavery's now got a black and white flag for track limit. He's not got a penalty for that yet. He can ill afford one, given that he's still hanging in about 0.3 per second behind Peter Keane. Is he going to try and make a move here before the end of the race? There's just under 6 minutes to go, so probably 6 laps to go from the one that's about to start. There's Theo, I think it's Theo Tibbetts back in that car, isn't it? Making his way around. That 73 car that's in 16th position. Just looking for any potential further changes. Gordon's quite close to Holman now. Holman, one of the cars that's not got a penalty though, whereas Gordon has. They're only 0.2 of a second between those two, for 6th and 7th.
Dunn's pretty close to Wilshire as well. 252 is Dunn in 5th place, within 3 seconds of Ben Wilshire. Ben Wilshire, one of the earliest to set a really quick lap, back on lap 6. Now working lap 72.
Yeah, some have set their best laps in this most recent stint since the last safety car went back in. As fuel loads have come down. There's Jack Gordon. Has he made up another position? I think he's got past Holman now, certainly. Jack Gordon in the black and orange 71 car. Goes across the line. Yes, he's ahead of Holman. He's up inside the top 6 before penalties are applied. Sun now starting to set at Vantage, getting a bit lower in the sky. As we get up towards 5:45 in the evening. There's Gordon. He's with the 252 car done now. So this is going to be for position as well. 252 car of Jamie Dunn, 30-year-old from Blackburn in the Clodhopper racing car. So we'll see if he can make up any more places. Here we go. This is the fight for 5th. For Clearways. And towards Clark Curve. He's going to slot his car alongside there at Clark Curve, and he's going to get his car, I think, completely ahead before they get to the timing line. So it looks like Jack Gordon has got that done. He goes P5 before penalties are applied, and he's now got 2 seconds to make up to Wilshire, but only 3 minutes of the race to do it. Probably 4 minutes of the race, 4 laps of the race left to go. Have a go. See if he can make it up into 4th before corrected times. Lavery still in 2nd place, still only just behind Peter Keane. The gap's gone out a smidgen since we last saw it, up to about half a second.
And there's no traffic imminent for the leaders.
No, that's the one thing that you think might change the change things around here between these two. If there was some traffic that compromised Peter Keane in that 151 car.
Lavery lap braked a little later that lap into Paddock Hill Bend. He's done the same at Druids. Not going to let Keane off the leash here.
Yeah, out of Graham Hill Bend towards Surtees they come. 2 laps to go at the end of this. Jack Gordon has taken 1.5 seconds out of Ben Wilshire on that last lap, so that gap's down to 0.6 of a second. So it could go P4 here. Try and keep an eye on that one. In fact, there the 2 of them are just coming through shot now. The 666 car and the 71 car you saw going through shot. Keane and Lavery meanwhile have started their penultimate lap. Car 27 is getting a 5-second penalty now.
The Thompson Lloyd car from 13th place.
Yeah.
Wilshire and Gordon together.
Yeah, they are. Up the hill they come. There's the Wilshire car, there's the Gordon car to the outside line through Druids. not going to get through there, or I don't think at Graham Hill Bend. No, might have a nibble. Meanwhile, the leaders are together. They're about to start their last lap. They're catching the UDAN car, but might not quite get with it before the end of the race. I don't think it's going to come into play. Nothing that much more slowly than the two leaders. Ooh, dust kicked up by one of them there, and Godden
dives up the inside.
dives up the inside. Yeah, may well have made that work. Here are the leaders, though. Up the hill, that's the UDAN car, 33. Here's Peter Keane with 3/4 of a lap to go. He made that move on Lavu very shortly after the safety car restart. The last of the safety car restarts. We've had 4 of them during the course of this race. He led the race before the first pit stops in the first 15 minutes as well. So I think he's been basically the quickest driver throughout. He actually just did his personal best lap on the last lap, a 59.957, only the second driver to go below the minute mark, along with Jack Godden, who did a 59.937. But with UDAN just probably going to finish ahead of them on the road, he's going to have to do one more lap. But it's going to be Peter Keane that comes up to the line and takes the checker flag and wins the opening round of the GAZ Shocks 116 trophy for 2025 by 3/4 of a second from Dan Lavery in second place. Here's Jack Gordon still coming through. He's got ahead of Wilshire, I think. He's not going to get Waring. He's not going to catch him because he's going to come through. He has come through now to take third place on the road, but we're going to have penalties to be applied here in a moment. Peter Keane, though, arm out of the cockpit, celebrating his victory, Marcus.
Yeah, exemplary drive from Peter Keane. And he led at both ends of the race, the important one being the checkered flag end. And look at that gap after 77 laps of the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, 0.771 of a second. Wilshire has gone to third with the application of penalties for Waring and Godden. So 666 Wilshire is third, 228 Waring is fourth, 252 Dunn is fifth, and 31 Holman sixth. The Goddens have dropped to seventh with their penalty.
Yep, and then Pete Brand 8th, Luke Fox and AJ Duffel 9th. Thomas Law completing the top 10 in the treble 7 car. And actually the UDANs didn't actually complete the race because they seemed to come back into the pit lane before completing their final lap. They finished just ahead on the road, if you like, of Peter Keane, who is our race winner. Let's have a look at those results then. Peter Keane is number 151 that takes victory. 77 laps completed, and he was 77 hundredths ahead of Dan Lavery at the end of that race. Lavery in the number 173 car. Third was 666 Ben Wilshire, 23 seconds behind. Fourth was the 228 car of James Waring after penalties applied, but only a second behind Wilshire. Fifth 252 Jamie Dunn. Sixth was 31 Sam Holman. That's a good showing from him. Then the Goddens 7th, Christopher and Jack, the first 2 driver team home. 8th was number 86 Pete Brand. 9th Luke Fox and AJ Duffel. 10th 777 Thomas Law. Nigel Greensall and David Hudson came home in 11th place. 12th was the 27 car, Steve Lloyd and Ben Dobbs. Then it was the Pierce car, 325, that of Callum Davis and Lee Pearce. And the Theo and Matthew Tippett's car, 73, was in 14th place, the last car on the lead lap. Jonathan Baker, 232, was 15th. Caulfield and Seddon, who were the leading 2-driver car at one point, they were 16th in the end, ahead of Connor Anderson, number 1 car of Paul Offord in 18th. Will Tyndall in the 101 car he shared with James Allen was 19th, and Sammy Walton, number 83, completed the top 20. 22 cars we had within the first 2 laps, and the rest of them were 2 laps or more behind. And there you can see some of the non-finishers on screen at the end of that 116 trophy race. That continues, as we said, at Thruxton in 4 weeks' time. Not as the 750 Motor Club organised event, but guesting elsewhere. We've got one more race to come this evening, but before that, let's have a word from our successful drivers in the 116 trophy with Josh.
So we're down here after the opening 116 trophy race of the season, and a close race right to the end. We're going to have a word with Peter Keane, our race winner. Well done, Peter. A hard race, and it might come down to the sort of a 15-minute sprint.
Yeah, it was a very tough race, but yeah, the car was good, just stayed consistent the whole race, so it was great. Obviously pit stop wise, managed to pit at the right time, I think, and just got out, obviously with the safety car, etc, but yeah, the car was mega, flying all day. Yeah, so super happy.
Tell us a bit about how you managed to grab the lead right there near the end.
So Avery made a mistake at Graham Hill. He just went a bit wide, and I've sort of been pushing him the whole time, just waiting for him to make a mistake, because obviously it's very difficult to overtake around here. So just waited for him to make a mistake, and then as he went a bit wide, I just managed to get my nose in front, just get past him, and once I got past him, I could just keep, I could pull away a little bit. Then I could just manage the lead, manage the tyres, etc. Just drive round, just literally get it to the finish. And the car was mega, didn't fault. It was flying. Like, I think we went faster at the end of the race than we did at the beginning, bizarrely. So yeah, it was good, and yeah, really happy.
Doing 90 minutes round here by yourself, is it pretty hard work?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I've done it a few times now, 4 seasons doing it on my own. Sort of get used to it after a while, but yeah, you sort of start to think, oh, where's the checker flag? Come on. But yeah, I mean, it was great, but the car was on it. I didn't really have to struggle with it too much, so it wasn't really hard to drive, so I was just sort of floating around. And at the end, they just sort of kept it calm, collected. But yeah, it was mega, the wicked day, so very happy.
Well done.
Thanks very much.
So there's Peter Keane, our winner. Second was Dan Lavery in 173. We'll go around the back of the car, I think, to grab a word with Dan. Dan, well done. First podium yesterday and almost a win today.
Yeah, it was very close, but Brand was brilliant. Once I made a mistake, he was done, and I couldn't keep up. So just every lap, it was just a slightly larger gap. So he deserves it. Congratulations to him.
A really good race and obviously good strategy that helped you get here.
Yeah, well, we were fourth going into the pits, and we came out in the lead. Like, I think we made up 4 or 5 seconds in the pits. So yeah, team did a great job and gave us a really good chance.
And how did you find doing 90 minutes round here by yourself?
I really want a beer, but now I'm going to have to drive home. So no, it was great. It was very, very challenging. It's tough. It's a long time, but safety cars helped and gave us a bit of a breather.
Looking to sort of do the full season this year?
No, I'm thinking in kind of 4 rounds, in and out, bits and bobs. I'm racing the Masters as well, so kind of in and out. But yeah, I'm pleased. It's been really great.
Well done on second place. And in third place was Ben Wilshire, who's over here. Ben, well done. You got third position now. I think James got more penalties towards the end, and that's so important here, isn't it, not to get track limits?
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to keep things clean, and I could hear on the radio that James had some penalties, and I think at one point the gap was exactly 15 seconds. So I just kept pushing at the end and tried to keep out of trouble. Getting through some of the back markers was obviously costing me some time, but yeah, I'm super happy with that. First podium and 116, so yeah, really happy.
Because obviously it's so difficult around here because there's going to be lots of traffic and it's not easy to overtake anyone.
No, not at all. You just got to make sure you get clean moves really on the exit and just be decisive. And yeah, like having obviously a great mix of drivers on the grid, but working back through the traffic is the hard thing to keep the times going well. So yeah, that was the main challenge for me.
Today, your first podium, how do you sort of feel in yourself? You've progressed since last year?
Yeah, I mean, last year I was running with DTO. This year we've moved over to Matt Highcock's team, MHR Motorsport. They've done an amazing job. Had Tyler on the radio as well. His first time on the radio. He did really good, keeping me updated. Matt, everyone's done a really good job. And yeah, I was actually surprised. I thought I was maybe running 5th or 6th, and then so to get a podium's a nice way to top off the weekend for sure.
Doing the Thruxton next round?
Yeah, I'll be at Thruxton, Alton Park, and hopefully for the rest of the season as well.
Thruxton's going to be so different to here, isn't it?
Very fast, I've heard. I've not actually raced at Thruxton before, though it's my local circuit. So yeah, I'm looking forward to using 5th gear.
It's all known to be a tyre killer, so that could have added a bit of strategy, I guess.
Yeah, I guess the smoother drivers will get rewarded and just try to work as a sort of train through the pack. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, really looking forward to it.
See you there. So well done to our top 3 in the 116 trophy.